Spartanburg, South Carolina, in Converse Heights, an old residential section. And I'm with Libbo Wise. Libbo is a landscape designer. Libbo, this is a treasure of a yard. How did it come to be?
When I met Nancy Simmons, the owner, we love working together. And I have to give her credit where credit is due. She pulled the thread through when she decided we were going to go mostly with conifers.
Well, and there is such a wonderful variety of plant material. Let's start in the front and kind of work our way up towards the house.
All right. Blue globe spruce. Love the heat, as do the silver or blue varieties of conifers, much more than the green.
And you know, we'd been told we couldn't use those here, but you say you're always willing to try things.
Always willing to try things. Have tried the green spruce, doesn't work. Blue does well.
And looks good too.
Looks good too, takes the heat.
And then you've got some little boxwoods you were telling me about that I'm very interested in.
Those are called Tide Hill, and they get wider than they do tall, dwarf. Take the heat well also.
Isn't that a nice trait in a boxwood?
Yes, it certainly is.
You have wonderful shapes. What variety? Tell me about some of these.
Well, I think everybody knows about emerald green arbovitas. They're popping up all over the place. And then we've got black dragon cryptomeria, and then we've got black pine, and then we've got, again, some upright boxwoods that get really tall. So we like to prune those quite a bit. And we've got some interesting cypress that have been topiaried also. And
I think that's one of the things that the woman who lives here enjoys doing. She likes to sculpt. I see that in a lot. And that actually can give extra air movement through plants, can it?
Yes, and just like your hairdo, the more you cut it, the better it grows.
And then we see that there's still a enjoyment of color and flowers, and so you add those little touches in, I believe.
Yes, until we get all knitted up, the annuals just have to have their place in the sun.
As we walk towards the back, I understand that it used to be you did that at your own peril because you might fall down into the creek down below. What have y'all done back here?
Brought in an unbelievable amount of topsoil to build up the backyard because there was none. It went straight to the woods. So she had the courage and probably the wallet too to build it up and put a retaining wall in, and that's how it all started.
I love your use of textures to give interest and add, because it's a very small space. So you need to create some excitement and some interest. And the Japanese maples that are used so beautifully in the front are repeated in the back, but with hostas underneath them.
Yes, they need some shade, as you well know. Hostas are a favorite too, just because of that meaty texture. Love them.
And then again back here, we've got beautiful uses of stone in the front, and you've repeated in some kind of different ways in the back. Talk about how you've used stone there. Well,
gravel. I love gravel gardening. Things just grow well in it. I don't know why, but we love to use gravel anywhere we can to just kind of knit a hardscape into a softer one.
And as we look out, we see that you get to appreciate the trunks of the trees. Mm-hmm. And if you take your courage and walk over to the edge, you've got a secret garden.
Yes, we do.
And that's kind of a new feature. Tell us how that's evolved.
Well, we ran out of places to work in the front, so we just had to move on into the back. It's just an ongoing process here.
And you said, of course, one of the things was that that area was so heavily covered that you had to remove things.
Yes, we had to take out quite a few trees.
And one of the things that is popping up unexpectedly is a little woodland flower that's in bloom.
Jack in the Pulpit. I had to ask you what it was. It's beautiful. I didn't know they got that tall. Yeah, they're everywhere. It's unbelievable. I don't know how they ever came to be down there. That was dense shade.
And one of the things you've done is you, in a sense of not being wasteful, you took some of the things that had originally been in the yard that had no place in the new scheme of things in certain areas, and then put them down there where they were more appropriate, like some of the azaleas and things.
We both love to transplant. It's just It's just fun. We like that 50-50 chance.
So this, you've told me that one of the things that's happening here that you love is that you and Nancy are still working on ways to tweak and unify. What do you think we might see in the future?
There's no telling with that woman. She's a genius.
Well, Libbo, I think that you need to give yourself a pat on the back too, and we thank you and Ms. Simmons for letting us visit such a remarkable treasure of a garden.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm honored. Love your show.